Hello and welcome to this week's reading vlog. This week I have a couple of big books to get through and finally finish off. As you will have seen in last week's reading vlog, I am still reading both The Shadow Rising by Robert Jordan, the fourth in the Wheel of Time series, and Catherine of Aragon by Alison Weir, which is the first book in the Six Tudor Queens series, a historical fiction. So these books are both part completed at the moment and both things that I do want to get finished. The Wheel of Time series I'm absolutely loving, and this fourth book in the series just as much as all the others. I'm loving the characters, I'm loving the plot development. It's just a solid fantasy read for me and something I will always enjoy reading. So that one is a top priority for me. Catherine of Aragon I've been enjoying slightly less. It's been one that I've toyed with DNFing, but I do really want to give it a good chance of enjoying it, so I've decided I'm going to take the plunge this week, give it a good go. If by the end of the week I still haven't finished it and I'm still not really motivated to read it, then that one will be DNF'd. I will give it back to my friend and just say, I tried, maybe come back to it on another occasion, but just not for me. But fingers crossed it does turn out actually to be more enjoyable than I thought. I do also want a little change of pace this week, so I'm planning to pick up a middle grade, and the one of choice is going to be A Tangle of Spells by Michelle Harrison. This is the third book in the Widdowson Sisters series. I'm not sure what the actual series name is, but follows Fliss, Betty and Charlie, the three Widdowson's girls, and their adventures on their magical island of Crowstone, and in this book actually their relocation to a new village and all of the witchy inspired magic that ensues. I'm really excited about this one. I love this as a middle grade series. I don't read a huge amount of middle grade as an adult, but I know this series is one that I would absolutely have loved as a child, and I'm still absolutely getting the benefits from it. Reading it as an adult too, I can really appreciate the characters. I love the magic. It's so quaint and lovely, but you do feel like there are high stakes in it too. It's not just light and fluffy and meaningless either. So it's a particularly nice brand of magic to read about, and I just really like it. So that's going to be my book of choice for the next couple of days. I'm planning to pick that one up this evening and probably get through it in the next day or two. It's a very quick book. I'm reading it on Scribd. I don't own a physical copy, but it's only, I think, 300 pages, so that will be a quick one to get through. Oh, it started raining. You can see the sunset light behind me, but it is actually a little bit wet too, so I might be relocating very shortly. So that's the plan for this week. I am also going away to the Lake District in a few days' time for the second half of the week, so I'll be taking these books with me, but also some audiobooks. I want to read the novella in the Stormlight Archive series, Edge Dancer, which I have downloaded from Audible. It's about 6 hours long as an audiobook, six and a half, something like that, so I should be able to get through that in about 4 hours, as I usually listen to things sped up anyway, so that will be one that I'll listen to in the car on my way up there. And then maybe I will dip it into Come Tumbling Down as well by Shauna Maguire, the fifth book in the Wayward Children's series, which I've been really looking forward to getting back into. So that's probably quite high on the priority list for this week as well, but I have lots of options of reads for this week. I will probably take you through my official August TBR, semi-official. I don't follow any rules, but I set my own. So I will take you through that later in this vlog and let you know my plans for the month as a whole. But that are my thoughts for this week so far. I will let you know how I'm going when I've done a little bit more reading. So I'm sheltering from the rain underneath my beautiful tree, but it's just such wild weather this evening. You can see the golden sunset behind me, but also how windy it is. Look at the leaves. It's brilliant. It really feels like it's blowing up for a storm, and I'm absolutely living for it. I love this kind of weather. So just hiding from the rain under the tree. I will run back inside shortly and actually start some reading. It's actually gone a bit cold too, so it might be a tea and blanket type evening. All the cozy vibes, who knows. But yeah, just enjoy some sunset light with me as we listen to the howling wind and the pattering of raindrops and all the atmosphere. Very ASMR. Hello, so it's a little bit later on in the evening now, and as promised I just want to quickly take you through my proposed TBR for the month of August. So I have no readathons or anything this month, no official TBR, so I'm just going to spend most of the month trying to make some more progress with some series I'm in the middle of. I have quite a long list of series on the go at the moment. I was trying to make a note of them all the other day and there are at least 15, which is not very good. So some progress will be made hopefully in the month of August. First on the list is Stormlight Archives by Brandon Sanderson, which I've been progressing through over the last couple of months and absolutely loving. I hope to get to the novella Edge Dancer and then also the third book in the series Oathbringer this month, if I can. I also want to carry on with the Wheel of Time series. I'm currently in the middle of the fourth book, The Shadow Rising, and would like to make a little bit of a start with Fires of Heaven, the fifth book as well, this month. I then also am actually really in the mood to get back into the Spellslinger series by Sebastian de Castell. So I read the first 2 books in this series a few months ago and then haven't made any more progress since. But I hope I can get down to my library at some point over the next few weeks and pick up the third book from there and carry on with the series. It's such a fun one and I'm just really in the mood to have a little bit more of Sebastian de Castell's writing. I love the humour in the characters and things, and it's a little bit of a lighter fantasy than a lot that I've been reading recently. So that one is on the list too. I also want to carry on with the Wayward Children series and listen to the audiobook of Come Tumbling Down. It's the 5th, I think, in that series by Shauna Maguire. Really excited to get back into that one too. It's another new series I've started this year and have really been enjoying, so that one is also on the list. And finally, as I mentioned earlier, I want to pick up a middle grade and I'm choosing to round out the Widdersham Sisters series with A Tangle of Spells by Michelle Harrison. This one again should be a pretty easy one to get through. Probably as an ebook. I don't own the physical ones, but I'll probably find that one on Scribd like I have the previous ones, and then that will actually be one of the series ticked off my list because I will be up to date. So that will be a very successful start to the month if I do pick that one up this evening. Apart from that, I don't really have any plans, so there are other series I'm in the middle of. I might decide to mood read and pick up something very different, I'm not entirely sure, but I will set those as my goal for now. I think that's about 6 books, so that's a decent amount, and depending how busy I am, I should be able to pick up a few more, but I'm not going to make any huge promises beyond that. It does tend to be taking me longer at the moment than I would like to get through books because I'm reading some pretty heavyweight fantasy books, which do obviously take a bit longer to read, and I've been really busy with work still, so I don't know if that will ever let up, but there we go. So that's the brief working TBR at the moment. If anything changes, you will see in the vlogs that are coming up, but at least you have a little indication of my plans for now. But for this evening, I'm going to start Tangle of Spells and see where we get to. Hello, so it is now Wednesday. I have just finished my day at work and I'm happy to report that on my lunch break today I have finished A Tangle of Spells by Michelle Harrison. It was a really quick read, as I anticipated it would be, and I really enjoyed it. So it's a series that I've been really enjoying over the past couple of months in general when I've read them. This is the 3rd book in the series and it's just a particularly fun middle grade. It's a lovely magic system, a lovely relationship between the 3 main characters, the sisters. This I think was actually my favourite book in the series of the 3. I loved the witchy shenanigans that we got in the story. I loved the relocation to the new setting and all of the discovery that we get as the sisters explore their new surroundings, and the kind of almost folklore aspect of it with the legend of some witchy magic that's happened in the past. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but it was a really fun book. I don't know if there are going to be any more in this series from Michelle Harrison, but at the moment I am now completed with that series, so I'm very pleased to have ticked one finally off my list of series to complete, and it was a 4-star for me, this one. I don't really give middle grades 5 stars, they never quite hit those heights for me, but it was about as good as middle grade can get, so I really enjoyed it and will happily read more from Michelle Harrison in the future. I did also last night make a little bit of progress with Catherine of Aragon too. Not too much, I just read about 50 pages or so while I was in the bath, but really getting back into that one now, and I'm happy to report that the story is picking up and hopefully I'll be able to make some more progress over the next couple of days with that. I probably am not going to get much more read now though until I go on holiday, which is... Oh, it's actually tomorrow. I completely forgot what day it is. So I will get some more reading done tomorrow because I will be going on holiday. I plan to listen to the audiobook of Edge Dancer first, I think, on my way up there. and then we'll see how I get on throughout the rest of the weekend. But I'm sure I will update you as we go over the next few days, and you'll see how my reading goes. I'm hoping for a productive week. I always tend to do better on holidays than when I'm at home and working, so fingers crossed. We will stay positive. Just checking in from our first evening in the Lake District. We are staying in the cutest little apartment above one of the restaurants in a town called Keswick, one of the beautiful tourist hotspots of the Lake District. But it's a really, really lovely place to stay. We're only here for one night, but it's a perfect base to get to do some mountain climbing tomorrow. Let me just show you the view behind, actually, through the window. Can you see? Right on the main street and the mountains behind. It's a really, really cute little place. So anyway, today's update on reading, I've actually done very, very well. I have finished the entirety of Edge Dancer on the way up here, and I really loved it. I expected to love it, but being a novella and following a bit of a different character from the main series, I wasn't sure quite what I'd think of it, but I have really, really enjoyed the book. It's been a most entertaining listen via Audible audiobook on the way up here and sitting in the traffic and everything else. So this book follows Lift, who is one of the characters who we met in an interlude section in Words of Radiance. We only have one section with her, so it's not a character we know well at all, but she is a fascinating character, and I've really enjoyed getting to know her story a little bit more. Not to give too many spoilers for the story, but Lift is a 13-year-old girl, I believe, so it's really interesting getting Sanderson writing a child, and she very much is a believable child in the book. It's a very authentic voice, and it's interesting having that sort of simplistic, almost innocent perspective on one hand, but also that unnervingly accurate insight that children do have. So a fascinating central protagonist, and I really love her companion that we see in there as well, Windle. He's brilliant. He's very melancholy, and I just love his wit. He's really, really amusing. So I loved the concept of the story. Very high stakes as per usual with Sanderson. Very interesting magic system. Gives us a couple of little insights on bits of the story that we will need, I imagine, going forward. So it was definitely an important book to read, and has made me even more excited to get to Oathbringer now. So fingers crossed that will be first on my list for next week once I am home. So tomorrow we plan to do more mountain walking, more climbing, whatever else we're doing, so I need to get some more reading done physically tonight, but we'll probably start another audiobook tomorrow. I think I'll probably start listening to Come Tumbling Down by Shauna Maguire, the Next in the Wayward Children series. It's another short one, so I should be able to get through that on this holiday. But in terms of physical reading, I have actually read a bit more of Catherine of Aragon as well. I brought both that and The Shadow Rising with me, and I'm actually pleased to report that I'm actually enjoying Catherine of Aragon a little bit more now. I wasn't sure if I would or not. If you watched my last week's vlog, you know that I had a little bit of trouble with that book and was considering DNFing it, but I thought, no, I will power through this week, and actually the plot has picked up again very much. We've got the introduction of Anne Boleyn and all the complex drama regarding the politics of Henry wanting a divorce and the break with the church and everything else. All very well-known parts of history, they're not spoilers at all. But I'm definitely enjoying the story a lot more now we have that added layer of intrigue. So I will hopefully try and get that book finished over the next couple of days and make some more progress with The Shadow Rising as well. I will leave you there for now and show you hopefully some more mountain scenery and a little bit more reading update tomorrow. Another day, another hotel room, another reading update, and I am pleased to report that I have finally finished reading Catherine of Aragon by Alison Weir. This book has been a bit of an up and down journey for me, so I started off really enjoying it. I then got very disheartened and frankly quite bored in the middle, but decided to persevere, and the plot, I'm happy to report, did pick up after that kind of mid-section lull. And I ended up actually enjoying this book. It was not as exciting as I'd hoped it would be. The beginning was the best bit, definitely, because it was a brand new piece of history to me. The middle section, as I said, was very dull. I wasn't particularly interested in what was happening. There wasn't a huge amount of plot content. It was just all a little bit people-centred drama, and I'm not really a fan of all that kind of thing. But then politically, the plot definitely picks up in that second half of the book, and it became more of the plot that I'm actually familiar with in history. So I really enjoyed that. And then the ending again became a little bit drawn out, but it was satisfying really, and a fitting conclusion to the story as a whole, and you can see very much how it will transition into the next book. There'll be quite a bit of overlap in that second section as we follow Anne Boleyn's side of the story, but then it will continue a little bit beyond the events of this one. So I will definitely continue with this series. It probably only gets a 3 out of 5 stars for me, which is still a very good rating. There's nothing wrong with it, but it didn't inspire me or really appeal to what I wanted out of this book. It was just a little bit average. I'm really sorry to Alison Weir, because it's a very well written book. It's obviously been very well researched, and the historical content is wonderful. It was lovely to see this period of history from Catherine's perspective specifically, and the different point of view and the different prequel information that we got. So I did enjoy it, but just not quite as inspiring as I hoped it would be. But anyway, it's another one ticked off for this week. So my main target now for the rest of the week, the couple of days that I do have left of this week and this holiday, is to try and finally finish this beast, The Shadow Rising. I still have about 500 pages, I think, of this one, 450 to 500, which is quite a lot. I'm not anticipating that I will get through everything that I want to with this book, but you never know. I might be fortunate, I might be able to. And as I said yesterday, I do also want to pick up the audiobook of Come Tumbling Down. I didn't start that one yet today. I've had quite a busy day, as you will have seen in the B-roll footage. Another lovely mountain climbed, lots of lovely scenery, so it's been a busy one. And out for dinner again this evening, so I won't get a huge amount done, but hopefully 100 pages or so of this one when I get back in later. Probably have another evening walk before that as well, but a little bit more reading to be done this evening, and this is my big challenge for the rest of the week. So fingers crossed I can complete it and feel like I've had a very successful week. That will be 4 books read, or completed at least, if I do manage to get through this one. So feeling good so far. Hello, so it is now Sunday evening. I am very sadly now back from holiday, which you will see by the background. I really didn't want to come home. I had the most lovely little breakaway in the countryside, definitely well needed, and I'm very sad to have to go back to work tomorrow, but life will go on. I have also got very good news. I've done some more reading, and I have finished an entire another book. So I have read Come Tumbling Down by Shauna Maguire, the 5th in the Wayward Children series, on my way home today. I listened to the audiobook, which was over surprisingly quickly, actually, just over 2 hours. I managed to get through that one because I do listen to them quite sped up on script. And I'm happy to report I really enjoyed it. I was a bit sceptical about this book, so I'd heard mixed reviews about this one compared to some of the others in the Wayward Children series. I have really been enjoying this series so far. The 3rd book was a little bit less my cup of tea than the rest of them, but all the other 3 have got 5 stars so far. This one didn't quite make the 5-star cut, but it's definitely a good 4. I really enjoyed going back to the moors, getting more Jack and her storyline, and it was nice to see some of the other characters we've met latterly as well interact with Jack and see their opinions of her, if you like, their version of like seeing her character through their eyes, which was really interesting. She does remain one of my favourite book characters, I think, ever. I think she's such a well-written character, and it was really interesting in this story to see Jack very ruffled, actually, and almost at her breaking point, and how she deals with the challenge of that. So I know a lot of people don't like the fact that we've revisited characters and stories that we've already been party to in this series and would rather have more different characters, but whilst I do generally agree, I was happy to go back to the moors, and I like the conclusion to Jack's storyline. I feel like it's a satisfying ending, so didn't quite make the 5-star for me, but really a decent read as well. So I will continue with the rest of that series at some point, but no plans to jump straight into that. I believe we meet a new character in the 6th book, so as and when I get to that one, I'm sure it will be good too. I have also made some more progress with The Shadow Rising. I have only about 200 pages of that left now, so I will try and finish that this evening. If I don't finish it tonight, it will roll over to tomorrow, but that book is well on its way to being completed. So with that in mind, it has been a very productive week, and I'm really happy with the progress I've made. I have read the entirety of A Tangle of Spells and have come tumbling down. I have finally finished Catherine of Aragon and read nearly half of The Shadow Rising to almost complete that one. So very productive week all round. I'm going to leave this vlog here because I want to be able to get a start on editing this one before next week. Another busy week coming up next week, so I don't know how much reading I will get done, but I will definitely finish off The Shadow Rising in the next day or two. And then I'm thinking, I don't know actually, I'm thinking maybe a genre shift, or maybe I'll just take some lighter fantasy, who knows. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Give me a like down below if you did. Chat to me in the comments about any of the books I've read this week, anything else you'd like to discuss with me, and please consider subscribing if you'd like to see more from me. I will see you again very soon in the next video. So, bye for now.